For 2025, the Lexus UX has been slightly updated with an overhauled powertrain, a new digital drive selector, and a new name. It used to be called the UX 250H. Now it's the UX 300H. Wow!
What did we gain 50 of?
50 UX points.
Here's how much the Lexus UX costs.
This is the cheapest Lexus, but it doesn't feel that way inside. These materials feel really nice.
We've got the washi Japanese paper inspired trim, which helpfully avoids the perils of shiny black plastic. And in our particular trim here, we've got this red stitching, adds a little bit of color in a very monochromatic interior.
Keeping it on theme, the storage in here is on the small side. There is room for a bottle in the door.
At a jaunty angle.
That's right.
And if you move to the back seat, there's no door storage at all, unless you're using like the grab spot, which we call a sauce pocket. What do you think? Do you actually put a nugget sauce in there?
It might fit, but the bottom is covered in this cloth material, so I wouldn't.
You wouldn't, but I'm all about that nug life.
There's also a phone zone up here with a wireless charger and 2 charge ports. It is blocked by these cup holders.
Dovetailing on the phone zone, we have 5 USB ports, a variety of C's and A, plenty of charging opportunities. The USB-A port can be found under the center console lid, and it does this like double flip, which makes it extra flexible to get to the gear you have in there. And if you are a true fan of flexibility, Flying Eyes eyewear features patented Resilimide construction that makes them light, flexible, and extremely durable, perfect under a headset or a helmet. They're made for pilots, but you can wear them too. Learn more about Flying Eyes at the link in the description below. Bonus bendy shot. Moving to the seats, I really like them. Now, the versions we have here are only for the highest F-Sport handling trim, so you've got a little bit of extra bolstering. No pressure points. I'm finding this to be a very comfortable seat.
I really like the way these seats fit me. They are a little bit on the narrow side though.
No, they're a little on the sporty side. With the front seat adjusted for my 5'10" frame, long torso, and occasionally poofy hair, I do fit in the back seat. There's a sculpted headliner, pretty good head clearance, and just enough knee clearance, but it's not a generous amount of space. Impressively, if I move to that middle position, I fit just fine. Strangely, we have my daughter, and that's not saying she's strange. Kiddo, explain, how do you fit back there?
Not good. Too cramped, and it's just kind of a tiny car.
One of the challenges for our kiddo is that she's small enough that her knees just don't bend where the end of the seat is, so her legs just kind of stick out. She's very uncomfortable in the outboard and inboard positions, but I fit fine. What a weird world it is.
Yeah, I'm tinier and he's bigger, like much bigger.
Yeah, and louder and smellier, and yet it fits me better. Weird.
Daddy, now everyone knows.
They knew. We don't have reclining seats back there, although I think the static recline angle is fine. And that bit of praise, we have rear vents. For cargo, we have a cozy 17.1 cubic feet, at least if you're on the consumer side. If you go to the press side, they say it's 17.2 cubic feet. Minor cubic foot discrepancies aside, it's, I think, enough space to work with, but not a lot of space. Also, it's a pretty high liftover height.
One feature that I appreciate is that you can move the floor down so that when you have groceries or things that might roll out, it'll hold them in place.
And there's another underfloor area underneath that. What you won't find is a spare tire. Though, in the UX's favor, it runs on standard run flat. So if you do get a slash, well, I don't know how much that's going to help, but it'll get you somewhere, which is much better than giving standard tires and just a tire repair kit. For folding down the seats, there's a 60-40 split, and I can reach the releases from the cargo area.
So can I.
Amazing, though be sure to flip the headrest down first, otherwise it'll just smack right into the back of the front seats. Oh, and then ours has the optional power lift gate, and it's got a little kick function. What about the latch point sitch?
The lower anchors are covered with plastic covers that are easy to remove and therefore easy to lose. As for a rear-facing car seat, we did not test that, but there is very little room back there and the door doesn't open very wide, so that would be seriously tricky.
As for safety, the NHTSA has rated this a 5-star overall vehicle, and then the IIHS hasn't rated the 2025 model, but for 2024, they gave it a top safety pick rating. We've got a full active driver assist suite, included standard, and also 10 airbags. What do we think? Is the Lexus UX family friendly?
A small family like ours could definitely make this work, but it's not big enough overall to give it the family-friendly label.
Rear window test. All the way down! Although this part isn't a window, or it doesn't go down. Good enough. Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, easy access both inboard and outboard, solid squish factor. I'm just feeling in a great mood and lacking complaints, so I'm gonna go 90% inboard, 90% outboard. Onward to style. Though the Lexus UX has been updated for 2025, it hasn't been updated from a stylistic perspective. Carries right over.
I love it when a little car has a lot of style. It looks like they shrunk down a bigger car with all of its many, many lines.
It's like making a reduction or something like that. Like, let's get rid of all the stuff we don't need and really cram it into a small space.
Especially that front end, the way the soft curves intersect with the crisp lines.
The way you were mentioning soft and crisp, it sounded like you were describing a sandwich.
Do you want me to describe a sandwich to you?
I mean, kinda.
How about a bologna sandwich?
Ooh, a fried bologna
A
sandwich.
little crispy, but the bun's kind of soft. If you look at the base UX, it actually has black fenders. We like black fenders as expressed by our Ford Bronco, so I'm actually pretty good with the base cars look. Also, we have the F-Sport handling version. There's 2 F-Sport trims. They're the highest trims, and they have unique front and rear fascias along with black roof rails and a black painted roof. If you're curious about the color of our particular tester, it's called Ultrasonic Blue Micah, and there is a joke there somewhere that we are going to ignore. Overall, we like the look of the Lexus UX. What do you guys think? Like it? Dislike it? Tell us in the comment section. Also, thank you for supporting our channel. Whether you like or subscribe, leave a kind comment, maybe buy some flying eye sunglasses. Whatever you do to support us, we appreciate it. Onward to In Motion. Commuting in the Lexus UX, I found the ride quality to be quite good, fairly quiet in here. The version we're driving has an adaptive suspension. It is the F-Sport handling trim. When I use the steering wheel, it's going where I expect it to go. It's reasonably responsive. What it's not to me is especially sporty. Picking up the pace a little bit, I find it difficult to know when I'm approaching the limits of the Lexus UX's cornering abilities. And then I looked at the notes for the last time we reviewed a Lexus UX, and I said the exact same thing. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe there is a theme here, and maybe my perceptions are somewhat accurate. A more communicative steering wheel would make it a little bit easier to enjoy the UX's fun potential. By the way, the F-Sport handling trim, not only does it have adaptive dampers, but it also has retuned springs and stabilizer bars. It also includes a sportier drive mode that's not included on lesser UX trims. But even in that sportiest mode, I'm not getting the driver engagement that perhaps I would prefer. Moving to powertrain, last year, the UX went to an all-hybrid lineup. This year, we have an overhauled powertrain that yields more power, 15 more horsepower. So it is quicker, but it is not quick. 0 to 60 times are around 8 seconds, but where that lack of quickness merged for me was coming up our long hill and trying to keep up with you in the Bronco when we were shooting car to car. There were times where I would hang back and I wanted to pull up, and it's just like, and it took a long time to catch up with you.
Which is really saying something, because I am not a fast driver.
True. The F-Sport handling trim also has a custom mode in case you want to really dial in your specific mode. And then one thing I'm always curious about whenever we've got a hybrid that's not a plug-in, we have an EV mode. I'm going to slow down and see if we can use the EV mode. Let's see how fast I can go. And there we go. Like 14 miles an hour. I guess EV mode is a more appealing mode name than slow speed creep mode. But if you are a slow speed creep, that's your mode. I'm going to depart at a modest pace, and we are going to listen to the ECVT. That's the electronic continuously variable transmission. A little bit of engine noise there. You can see the engine's rise in the gauge cluster, but just kind of humming along, no big deal. Now when I floor it, whee! You get that engine racing sound. The ECVT behavior is smooth in all conditions, but just because of the lack of power, you're going to get a lot of that racing engine note if you are going up long hills to, let's say, your mountain community. If you don't live in a mountain community, maybe it won't be such a challenge. Last thought, I'm braking here, and oftentimes hybrid brakes do not have a natural feel, but I believe I can come to a smooth stop here. Let me see if I can prove that by, oh my.
Very smooth.
What do you think, Kiddo? Smooth stop?
At first I didn't think it was going to be that smooth, but it was like very smooth.
Nailed it. All right, let's see what Sweetie thinks. Sweetie's at the wheel. Why don't you use that new digital drive selector, put us in drive. As you make your U-turn, tell me how it feels.
That was a much tighter turning circle than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's like 34.2 feet, so that is a tight turning circle. And then what about steering efforts? That work for you?
Nice and light, easy to maneuver.
What about visibility?
Oh, no.
You want to narrow that down to a pillar, or like what's problematic?
The windows are narrow, there's a huge blind spot over my right shoulder, and I am short, so I'm seated so far forward so that my feet can touch the pedals. This is entirely blocking my view over my left shoulder.
That wouldn't be a problem if you gave up with that whole feet touching the pedals thing. That's on you, sweetie.
Perhaps if I got some novelty clown shoes.
If anybody in this car were to wear novelty clown shoes, it would be you.
It would be me.
Yes, sweetie's inevitable evolution into a juggalo is almost complete. Accelerate that way. Thoughts?
That was plenty zippy for my taste.
At higher speeds, it feels a little bit slower, but at slow speeds, it feels a little bit quicker. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you have a hybrid powertrain, so you've got that electric propulsion right off the start. We're driving the all-wheel drive version, which adds a little electric motor in the back, so you get speedy acceleration right off the line. You don't have a lot of that wheel spin because it's distributing that accelerative force a little bit. What about steering? Is it working for you?
It feels, pretty heavy. I'm in Sport S Plus.
Oh, here, let's put you in normal. Okay, tell me now.
Much better.
Okay, that got it. That's the problem. If we were in the market for a small, luxury, hybrid SUV, are there any game killers that would prevent you from driving a Lexus UX?
I like the way it drives, but it's so small that our kid is a little uncomfortable in the back. That would give me pause.
Evie has spoken. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. Moving on to remarks. Infotainment. The base screen is an 8-inch unit, but all other trims above that get this 12.3-inch unit. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone connectivity comes standard.
This infotainment system is so simple to use. There are icons on the side. They're a little bit on the small side. There's also a physical volume knob, which I always appreciate. Easy to find my way around.
The base trim has a 7-inch digital gauge cluster, but all others get a larger 12.3-inch unit. If you buy a UX, you can have access to voice commands, cloud-based navigation, and the ability to turn your vehicle on and off and unlock it and lock it with the Lexus app, but only if you have an active Lexus Drive Connect subscription. Our tester has the optional 10-speaker premium audio system, and when I got in, somebody had the treble and bass and stuff all way out of whack, but when I flattened it out, I still found the high end to be a little bit overbearing, so I actually turned down the treble. It made me realize that crispy high end is the motion smoothing of audio systems. Wow, look how amazing that thing is.
Are you okay?
I don't know what this character is. It could be a Muppet. Rolling back to some of the active safety features, there's something called Proactive Driving Assist, which will automatically slow you down and keep you away from the vehicle ahead, or if there's like a bicyclist or a vehicle nearby, it'll kind of nudge the steering this way or that way. I actually don't like it. Maybe you will if you don't pay that much attention. What I do like, though, is that we've got standard safe exit assist, which will warn the occupants if a vehicle's coming up on the left side and you're going to open a door. That's super cool. And now let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's where you check the oil level. Here's where you add the oil, and that is where you fill the washer fluid reservoir. All right, let's take a look at the engine choices. The only engine offered is a 2-liter hybrid, 15 more horsepower than last year. Other enhancements include a switch to a lithium-ion battery and a new transaxle in case you care. Amazingly, not only does it have more power, but it also has better fuel economy than last year's UX. 87 octane is fine.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Will you share our trim recommendation?
It is that time. Our trim recommendation is which Lexus UX trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. We're going to recommend the base trim. It covers all the essentials with 8-way power front seats featuring faux leather material, dual zone automatic climate control, and smart key access. Key competitors for the Lexus UX include the Audi Q3, Volvo XC40, and BMW X1. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. And now, it is our daughter's time to shine. Child, can you tell us, while you're busy eating gummy bears, what is your favorite feature in the Lexus UX?
Cargo cover.
Cha, 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 cha. We didn't plan that.
Why?
We actually act that way. It's crazy. Why do you like the cargo cover, kiddo?
Because when it's windy, and I don't mean you.
What? Go on. Damn! Okay, yes, when it's windy?
I can hold it up, and it feels like I'm about to fly away.
That sounds like way more fun than they could have imagined when they were designing that thing. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Lexus UX. May I have a 5? And feel free to put a gummy bear in that hand if you don't mind.
Okay. Kidding. I didn't eat all of them.
And a 5. And you! Go get your high 5. Now, please enjoy our AI-generated synopsis song about the Lexus UX.
Lexus UX, you're looking fine. Why ain't there a spark to make you shine? Getting better yet you lack the thrill. Guess it's a journey up the hill.